Yo, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy Nitsa coming back with another video here today on the channel. Today I want to talk about how you can bring realism and some human element back into your vocal recordings. Oftentimes I feel like when you go in through a digital recording, everything, some tonal characteristics and some of that feeling can be lost as it's going from, you know, a vocal artist recording to in the box. Bring your vocals back to life to how they would kind of sound like in reality. So the very first thing I want to talk about today is something very simple, which is microphone selection. So everybody's got to understand that different microphones kind of have different frequency responses. So I feel like if you're starting up a home studio or a small studio, you should be trying to look into, like, you know, which microphone would suit your voice the best. And also, what is your needs? Like, if you know you're going to record a bunch of different other people, you know, you have friends, you have clients, you might want to pick a microphone that kind of generally works for, you know, not only yourself, but other people too. So right now I actually have two microphones. I have an MLX 990 and I have a Warm Audio FET microphone, the FET 47, I believe is called. And, you know, I think it's good to at least try to keep two microphones because everybody's voice sounds different on every kind of like microphone. Sometimes I done recorded clients where, you know, I could hear that the microphone didn't really fit them. So I switched it out to another microphone that maybe had a flatter frequency response. So some people have deep voices, some people have high voices, but whatever it is, I feel like you should always try to pick the best microphone that's going to accurately represent what the artist is putting into it, you know? Like also the type of microphone that it is, you might have like some tube microphones and you have solid state microphones. They might deal with the high end differently. So there's some people who, you know, we all have different frequency contents in our voice when we're recording vocals. So you got to keep that in mind too. You know, some people who have a deep voice, you know, maybe a microphone that has like a bump in the bass might not work for them like that, because there is some microphones that are like that, you know. And maybe somebody who has a high voice, they might not want to work on maybe like a C800 because that's going to insinuate some of the brightness that's already in their voice. So I feel like, you know, you should always try to think about the microphone, the type of microphone it is, and if it accurately is representing the artist and what they're trying to hear in their head, right? That's what it's coming down to. Another little cheat code that you can do is when the artist comes into the studio, what I always do is like, while the beat is downloading, I'd be like, yo, bro, let me hear you rap that thing real quick. Like, I tell them to rap it for me in real life. So when I'm doing that as an engineer, I'm giving myself a little advantage because I'm already understanding what it's supposed to sound like in real life, like as like their voice and everything. So that's gonna give me an advantage, right? Because by the time I start mixing the vocals, I already have like a general picture in my head of what I'm supposed to make this mix represent, which is the real life way they rapped it out to me. So that's another little tip that you can do. Now today we're gonna go into the box right now, into the Pro Tools session. I'm gonna show a couple other ways that you can bring life to your vocal, realism, and kind of you know, bring back some of the human element that may possibly be lost while it's, you know, it can become a flat recording. So let's jump right into it. So right now I have a little session that I did with one of the artists that I work with named Money Foreign. I'm gonna drop the link down below to his artist page so y'all can also check him out. Make sure y'all don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So the first thing I'm gonna also do too is I'm gonna just play the vocals so y'all can hear what it kind of already sounds like, just flat. And I'm gonna bring in some couple techniques that we can do to bring in realism back into the recording, the digital recording, right? Let's hear it.
Niggas tryna network, but I only work for my network. My head hurt, I'm tryna pinpoint how the odds work. I feel no hurt, white shirt, I'm tryna come up like I'm Big Worm. Bitch, I'm lit like a concert. Bad bitch, let me insert withdrawals. I'm ducking, cause I don't stop for the ops. I'ma take off, I'm serving Migos across the street. Niggas know that's my people, not to be confused with the other side. Suicide.
Yeah, so that's one of the recordings that I did for one of my artists that I work with, Money Foreign. So if you guys ever do want to get a mix from me, or you have any more suggestions for any type of content, you know, don't be scared to DM me on Instagram or to comment down below. I'm more than happy to always work. So the very first thing I wanted to talk today about is, you know, mimicking what you hear in real life, right? For example, when you go outside, right? not every sound is perfect. You know, there's non-linearities in the air, or, you know, it just pretty much the way sound travels. It's not a perfect left, right, center, like kind of how people do LCR panning too, which I do use for sure too. But when it comes to a vocal specifically that brings some life, to add some realism, I want to take the characteristics that my human ear hears in real life and bring it over to the music. So there's a couple ways that I like to do that. The first way I like to do is I like to offset my delays, right? So you have this delay right here, which is a quarter note delay, and then I got an eighth note delay right here. So it's kind of like when you're walking outside in the park, you might hear some birds on one side, right? Then you might hear some wind picking up the trees. So pretty much not everything is perfect when you're walking outside. When you're in the actual real world, the way sound travels, not everything is just a perfect dead right, dead left. You know, it's not, it just don't work like that. So whenever I'm doing a mix, my mindset is always trying to be like, how can I make this sound more real, right? How can I bring some kind of like the movement that, you know, the human ear is already picking up on a day-to-day basis. You know, as soon as you wake up, you might sleep on one side, and you might be like, you might rub your ear a little bit, you might not hear as good on one side as the other. So that's really what the human ear goes through. And if you want to make that connection with the artist and the music, you got to kind of bring some of the real characteristics of how sound really works into the music. Because if you don't, and you try to make everything too perfect and just so, you know, elegant and not honest to how real life is, people are just going to be like this. They might not hear it, but they're going to be like, oh, you know, I don't know what it is, but it's something about this recording. I just don't feel it. Yeah, the reason why they don't feel it is because it's not representing the reality, you feel me, of how sound travels in real life. So what I like to do is I like to offset my delays a little bit. Nothing crazy, nothing too crazy, but I like to, you know, have two different delays. And, you know, you can do this when you have it on a lead bus too, a stereo track, but I just did it in mono. And when I got the little delays going, I like to mess with the feedback a little bit. You know, I have the feedback one way over here. I got it on 15. And then I have it on, you know, 20 right here, just kind of simulating just how sound really works in real life. Some people, they try to just have the same exact settings dead on as like both delays. And, you know, that's cool too. That might work sometimes too. But if you ever come to a place where you feel like this vocal is just, it's just something about it, you might just want to try to offset the delays a little bit to bring life, to bring realism to the vocal. You know, it brings some, you know, movement. And just like, for example, if I'm in the street with you and I'm talking and I'm standing right next to you, right, and you on the other side of me, I'm gonna hear everything perfect in the ear that you're on the same side as, right? But the other ear isn't really going to hear everything perfectly. So that's why I like to offset my delays, maybe like different level, different feedback. There's so many different ways you could do it, but at the end of the day, it's giving you all the same goal, which is bringing realism back to how you hear it in real life. Music is about a reflection of real life, what you already hear in real life. You got to bring it in to the music. You feel me? That's how people make that connection to it. So that's one way that I always do it too. And now the next method that I got right here today is I like to use automation too. Now let's think about it in real life. You might have people who, like the human beings, right? When we get excited about something, we kind of get a little bit loud. Like it's like, oh my God, I won the lottery. Oh my, like their voice is gonna raise when you know, excitement. So your human ear kind of it kind of just relates excitement with volume a little bit, you know what I mean? But as a mixer, you can use that as an advantage. So let me play a little bit of it real quick, and I'm gonna hear what part I want to bring out.
I'm ducking, cause I don't stop for the ops. I'ma take off, I'm serving Migos across the street. Niggas know that's my people, not to be confused with the other side. Suicide, trying to run up, I love my life, can't lose that. I've been in my zone for too long, I gotta use that. Like the kid back on my waist, I move in silence and I soak up the game. It ain't free, I'm finessing my way. I'm too solid, no confusion today. Thank God a demon rose up, made a killing a day.
Yeah, so when I listen to it, I kind of heard the part in the middle that I want to bring up a little bit. So I would use automation to bring a subtle type of realism to the vocal, right? Because, you know, like in real life, when somebody gets happy, they kind of raise their voice too. Or even like anger, like will make somebody raise their voice too. So I would, you know, I put it on touch/latch mode, and I come over here to my fader, and I will play, and I will kind of like automate it, just subtly though, nothing crazy. People will call this writing the vocal too, but my mindset coming into it is that I'm looking to make it sound like in real life. You know, like the artist, when they're rapping, the vocal take to you, you got to pay attention, like what parts do they emphasize in real life? Because they might be rapping it, then they have like a certain line that they really like, that when they're rapping it to you, they're gonna make it obvious to you that like you should bring this part out when you're mixing the song. So keep that in your head.
I'm ducking, cause I don't stop for the ops. I'ma take off, I'm serving Migos across the street. Niggas know that's my people, not to be confused with the other side. Suicide, trying to run up, I love my life, can't lose that. I've been in my zone for too long, I gotta use that. Like the kid back on my waist, I move in silence and I soak up the game. It ain't free, I'm finessing my way. I'm too solid, no confusion today. Thank God a demon rose up, made a killing a day.
See, now that's kind of good. Like, I was able to kind of create drama at the end, you know, like he had so much momentum when he was rapping about da-da-da-da-da in his life. And now like the verse is coming to a conclusion, right? So it's kind of like building excitement for the listener too towards the end of the verse. Like it's just something about it, like they can't put their finger on it, but it's just something about the energy. It's just coming up. It's just something, a big vibe or a big wave of like feeling is coming up and they can't even realize it. So that's how you give yourself an advantage as an engineer too, making subtle little moves. But remember, you got to get your vocal under control before you even try to do something like this. So I got other videos about that y'all could check out too, but this is just a way, you know, like a creative idea for you to know, like you can bring life to your vocal. It don't have to be a flat digital recording like this, like a flat line. Think about it, your heart as a human being don't even move like that. You know, sometimes when you get excited, your heart rate go all the way up. Sometimes when you sleeping, your heart rate go all the way down because you chill, you vibing. You feel me? So you got to put that into the music too, man. Like you got to think like that. So lastly, the last thing I want to talk today is about distortion. How you can use tone to bring realism into your vocal takes too. You know, you can use distortion. So what I would do is I would kind of like create an aux right here, right? I just find an open bus, and I probably just make it mono, to be honest. Let's just go with any random bus. You know, bus 27 is the one that we did. We're gonna do it, call it vocal distortion. Okay, so now that I kind of got my little distortion bus, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new aux. So I do new track, new, and then I'm gonna go with mono too, because I want to preserve my stereo imaging. Now, if you have like a vocal group, then you know you'll make that decision for yourself. You want it in mono or you want it in stereo. So you know you make that decision. And now with the distortion, you got to understand that we're looking to add tone. Tone is another real thing that we have in real life. When we talk to somebody, we could kind of tell based on how they feel, based upon the tone, right? Like, for example, like I could say the same thing to you, right, twice over, but you're gonna be like, like it's just something about it. If I said hi, right, then I said hi, you'd be like, yo, like, is that boy okay? Is he in a bad mood? Like you would kind of, your tone, the human ear uses tone to also distinguish, like, you know, like I'm trying to get a pulse on, you know, what the person is really feeling like. So in mixing, you could use that as another advantage too. Like what I'm gonna go for is I'm gonna go for a Shep 73. So what I would do is I would be looking to add some drive. I'm gonna send a whole signal right into that plugin. And what I'm gonna be looking to do is I'm gonna be looking to add some drive into the vocal, just some grit, some smack, you know, just to give some variety into the way the actual vocal sounds. Trying to like replicate, you know, how a human would, you know, when they talk to you, you know, what happens, you know, like the tone goes up and down. So we need to make it a little bit more variable using some distortion, some drive.
I move in silence and I soak up the game. It ain't free, I'm finessing my way. I'm too solid, no confusion today. Thank God a demon rose up, made a killing a day.
So with the driving of the preamp, I mean, I didn't really go too hard with it. You could get way more extreme. You could even put it on insert, which is what some other people do. But I'm just trying to show you that, you know, I'm using the drive to insinuate the mid-range, you know, pretty much. For example, it's like when you get in your car, right? When you get in your car and you first turn on the key, it goes like, you know, the motor get going real quick. But then once you get on the road and you start pressing the gas hard, you hear, like that energy, right? The mid-range, you know, you hear that the mid-range gets way more focused and everything like that. So that's what I'm trying to talk about. The mid-range is pretty much like the life frequency of a vocal. Thanks a lot for watching my channel. I appreciate you guys here on YouTube. Let me know if you have any more different ideas for content down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really appreciate it now. Peace.
Niggas tryna network, but I only work for my net worth. My head hurt, I'm tryna pinpoint how the odds work. I feel no hurt. White shirt, I'm tryna come up like I'm Big Worm. Bitch, I'm lit like a concert. Bad bitch, let me insert withdrawals. I'm ducking, cause I don't stop for the odds.